Hello, welcome to my channel. In this video I will be talking about Blight-Ravaged corrupted maps, how to play it around Twist of Fate, and I've conducted a little test that shows me a few things and I have few conclusions around it, and I think that should help you figuring out what to do, how to make most out of your gameplay and make more currency in the game, right? So in the beginning I would like to answer the question whether it's worth to corrupt your maps or not. So I think answering this question is very easy because it comes down to a tainted oil price. So tainted oil is a T1 reward, and I can say that by seeing the drop rate. So drop rate is, I believe, even lower than golden oil, but it's close, right? So here we have 2.2, here we have 4, so it's around 3 per 10 maps, which means 0.3. And if you look at the drop rates, you can see golden oil and tainted oil. Here's the same. It should be closer, right? But it's for some reason it's not. But here it's closer again, right? So anyway, those both rewards are tier 1, and the logic behind whether you should play corrupted maps or not comes down to price of tainted oil, right? So if this is more expensive than golden oil, then you should play corrupted maps because this increases your reward on top of golden oil, right? So in this league, if golden oil is 135, it would be worth to play corrupted maps if they are above 135. That's the basic logic. There is a bit more to it. However, that would be like the first reason behind playing corrupted maps or not, right? So, well, what is Twist of Fate then, right? So Twist of Fate is an Atlas node that basically adds 1 to 3 implicits on top of your re-rolled map. So Twist of Fate will re-roll your map, right? So change the prefixes and suffixes on the map, and additionally add 1 to 3 map modifiers. This increases item rarity and item quantity of a map, and possibly this way we could get more out of our Blight-Ravaged maps. And because it behaved weird before the 3.24 change, right? So before 3.24 we had unidentified maps, and this was also one of the outcomes of Twist of Fate. When you corrupted your map, it could be unidentified. It had some bonus to item quantity, and then when you had your Twist of Fate enabled in here, it could also end up as unidentified. So when you it looked like when you enter the map, you cannot see any modifiers, right? So it was totally random, and you didn't know what you play actually. So they changed this. Now it's quite clear what are the modes on the map, what are the challenges, what's challenging on the map. And I thought we need to redo the test, right? So in this video, I will be explaining you what are the results and what's the lesson, right? So maybe few words about the spreadsheet and my test. So it might, if you are new here, it might look a bit overwhelming because it's end of the league. So I have so many tabs, but you can select the tabs here. Not all of them are full of data because I mostly focused on testing corrupted maps, and I have not done every possible oiling strategy to see what's optimal. It wasn't like goal of the league for 3.25 for me. I spent this league mostly on figuring out the build and then testing corrupted maps. So those were 2 goals I had for this league. So in here you have different letters. The letters mean the oiling. So S is for silver, O is for opal, B is for black, T is for teal, G is for golden oil. I don't use any other oil because they all suck. So that's the long story short. Then you have different words like TOF, it's Twist of Fate, right? Low rolls, it means that I run Twist of Fate on low rolled maps, right? So what's rolling? So first you apply chisels, and I tested alternative chisels that have been added in this league. They don't work, so basically this is irrelevant to us. you only need those chisels, and that's the only thing that works for Blight-Ravaged maps, unfortunately. But this is the quality of development for this game. So it is what it is. Anyway, so then we of course apply oils. Like, let's go with triple silver. So matching what I've done for the testing, right? And then you use your Val orb on the map, right? So actually this ended up as 8 mod, but if it was rolled like, I don't know, 30% after corruption or 35, 36, I would use Twist of Fate. So that means low rolls. Whenever the outcome of corruption is, let's say, 4 mod or 5 mod, I'm using Twist of Fate on it, right? And then we have mixed, which means running all the maps as Twist of Fate except for 8 mods, right? So this would be separated. I would run all the, I wouldn't be rolling maps for quality before, like I did before, but I would only get 8 mods. So it would be like all the low rolls, because we don't roll at all, and then 8 mod, right? So again, low rolls first. We try to because I think I messed up. So low rolls again. Low rolls again. You apply chisels, and you try to roll for higher quality. So like this. Okay, it's 40. Yeah. So let's keep it. Let's assume you haven't seen that. So we rolled something like that, and then we use Valor, again 8 mod, but if an outcome was like something lower than what we rolled, basically you play Twist of Fate on it, right? So this way we eliminate the worst, let's say, outcomes of our corruption. And mixed is, again, not rolling maps, just applying oils, then corrupting maps, and then running 8 mods and everything else Twist of Fate. So those are the 3 words. Then you have like 40% or 30%. So those are the fragments. So you can use 4 sacrifice fragments and 1 mortal fragment, or you can use 3 mortal fragments and 2 sacrifice fragments, right? So if it's more expensive, it's 40. If it's less expensive, it's 30. I haven't done and conducted full tests on that yet, so I will probably do this next week. But, I started playing around it a bit, so I have 30 and 40% tops here, right? So this is the spreadsheet. I explained the different strategies, and, well, why does test matter? Maybe a few words. Why is this important? And I believe this is important to understand how to play around Twist of Fate, because it applies to any strategy. So whether I use silver, 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 opal, black, black, teal, 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 or golden, silver, 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 opal, opal, teal, 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 it doesn't matter, because it's still, you can still play it with Twist of Fate, you can still play it corrupted, you can still play it non-corrupted. It doesn't matter which oils you use. The only thing that matters is that, there is a best strategy and you should follow that, right? So I think that this was really necessary. So how did I collect the data? So I used Exilions next, but basically you could use, if you wanted to do something similar, you could also use Wealthy Exile. It doesn't matter in the end. This software is, to me, better because I'm first used to it. I know how to customize stuff, like, change prices and stuff if I need it. And it takes prices from POE Ninja anyway, so this is sometimes a reason why there are huge discrepancies. Like tainted oil for most of the league, like even September 1, POE Ninja said it's 150, while in reality it was like 350, right? So I was putting like the original POE Ninja prices, so they are very incorrect, and anyone who's showing you videos about income in 3.25 and he shows you data from Wealthy Exile, those numbers are incorrect, because now we have asynchronous trade with Faustus, and there is no data coming from Faustus, right? So here the prices are different from what, all the old tools show you. Like now we have we have some we have some trades for tainted oil. It's like 258. So that's quite, you know, it's a bit off again because it lags, the price lags here, because all the items that have not enough volume will have wrong price now, both on POE Ninja and all the tools that we use, right? There is no way to collect data from false tools, so there will be always an error. Maybe for the next league, I will be myself, you know, customly adjusting the most important prices like tainted oil, golden oil, silver oil, divine orb, you know, Valdos box and stuff, so that my calculations are accurate here, and I don't need to put additional column with real income, because like for tainted oil, if you drop 4 of them and you have 200 C difference on one item, it's already 4 divines difference out of 10 maps. It's huge. So it is what it is, and I thought it's worth to say, right? So I used Exilence next. This uses prices from POE Ninja as well as Wealthy Exile, so it doesn't matter which tool you used. I used this one because it's better for me. Then what I've done with the samples. So I've run 70 maps of each strategy. This is because I wanted to really reject extreme results. So I dropped the bottom and top results, right? So out of 70 maps, I only left 50 of each of the strategies, because like you can see, this was like 7,000 and the lowest was, you know, 3,600. So the difference is huge, and this helps with, you know, increasing the statistical confidence, you know, removing errors and trying to be, you know, get more value out of the tests, right? So unfortunately, one of the samples I had to scrap as well because I had no export file, so I could not compare it. I could not normalize prices based on that, and I have run, you know, like additional session, and it was much better than the previous one. So yeah, this is one of the reasons the results might be a bit worse. However, when you look to the results, it's like this 1000 chaos doesn't really matter. It doesn't change anything and doesn't change results, right? So this is just something I wanted you to understand. Then yeah, the sample itself. So usually when we test different oiling, 50 is enough, and I'm pretty sure about this. I can see different drop rates and different drop rates of the items. So, you know, those columns, those are very different. In here, it's a bit all over the places. So for, you know, what I consider best strategy is not all the columns are higher than what I consider, you know, worst strategy. And this is a bit different. So it raises few questions and I'm not sure, right? So this is just something you should have in mind, that this test is only based on 70 maps. Maybe it's not enough to have like, you know, to be like super confident, right? Because the difference here should be small, although it's not. And I'm not 100% sure what are the reasons behind it. I will share my thoughts. Why is it like that? What can be happening in the background? But in the end, we will never know. So maybe it's something for the future to, you know, to continue investigating and, you know, trying to figure out. But we will talk about results in a moment, right? So then I took all the samples I needed. I have all the export files, right? So like, let's go for low rolls. So I have all the export files from those sessions, and I selected only 5 of them, and I normalized the prices across, you know, single test, right? So like for low rolls, and this is visible in here. So this is the normalized price. This is the basically stack size. This is the drop rate, because I basically just, you know, divided this by 50, and this is a normalized total. Total is just a sum of items. So this column equals to 21 multiplied by 150, right? And this applies for all the other columns. Another thing I've done is I grouped small drops into groups like essences, fossils, incubators, scarabs, and extras is everything that dropped in 1 or 2 sets and doesn't appear in all sets. So usually like very rare items like gems and stuff, right? So it's just extras. Right, so I believe this is enough about data collection. I think you should understand now. One more thing. So we have one more column, calculated normalized. So this normalized is across all the samples, right? So this calculated is only for low rolls. This calculated is for mixed. This calculated is for twist of fate. And this normalized is for all the samples. And this is what I used to compare my results. So those 4 columns, and they are basically copied over here. So those are the results of my test, and I applied some colors. So the data is more, easier to understand. I have some graphs here and there. So this is an item distribution of the best strategy, and this is comparison of different strategies per item, right? So this is basically the red columns from here. Right, so yeah. So I guess we can maybe talk about results now, as we understand how the data was collected, what I've done to understand and compare them. And I believe the results are also straightforward because the difference is quite here. So yeah, like I said, let's have in mind the cheating aspect, so that I ran additional session and it turned out to be much better than the one I had to scrap. So it may be considered as cheating. So I added in here. But even if you remove 1500 C from the result, it's still far away from Twist of Fate and mixed mode, right? So I'm not sure about the reasons, we'll talk about that later, but first about the results. So the best results have low rolls, which means it is worth to roll your maps before corrupting. It is worth to roll highest rarity possible before corrupting your map. The 8 mods drop more loot than 4 mods, of course, that's quite straightforward. But somehow Twist of Fate, even though having those 1 to 3 implicits and the numbers of quantity are crazy, it doesn't translate into loot for some reason. I'm not sure what's wrong. Twist of Fate was not designed for Blight-Ravaged maps. Maybe something doesn't work there. I'm pretty sure that the enchantments work, because I could see that with golden oil, so I'm sure it's still there. Wiki says fragments are not randomized. That's okay, that's fine. Chisels are not randomized, I think, because I also tried to test it. So I'm not sure what's going on, but the data suggests that Twist of Fate is actually the worst way you can run your ravaged maps, right? It's, I believe, even worse than if you didn't corrupt your maps at all, except for tainted oil, of course, right? So, but it will drop less map, less items than non-corrupted map, all the other items, right? So I'm not sure why is that, I don't know. But this is the test I've done in this league based on 210 maps. And the difference is huge. It's like 30 divines out of 50 maps, right? That's quite a lot. So even if we try to explain it that maybe it was RNG, right? Okay, I get it. Yeah, maybe we've got more oil chests than Twist of Fate. That can happen. So we can assume 2 things, right? One, we cannot control types of chests at all with how we play the map. So it's totally random, and playing 50 maps is not enough to somehow, get an average number of all the chests, all the outcomes, right? So maybe you would need to run 500 maps to get the same number of oil chests, and this test is completely useless. That's one possibility. So we need to have that in mind. But maybe there is something that controls, types of chests. Like, I don't know, 8 mods maybe have higher chance to spawn oil chest and currency chest, right? So maybe we just get more good chests with 8 mods. I don't know. Maybe there is a way how we can test this, but for now, I'm not sure, right? So I think that this is clear that with low rolls, so self-rolled maps, we drop way more tier 1 rewards like golden oil, tainted oil, divine orb, Valdo puzzle boxes, all of those drop rates are higher in other sets, right? So this is really promising. I mean, those had the least twist of fate, so maybe we shouldn't run twist of fate at all. That's also another question that raises with this test, right? But anyway, I believe it's pretty clear and straightforward, and on top of that, I can compare the results from previous league. So even if this was totally random and, you know, it was just because of the random chest distribution and low sample, then why is this chart looking like that? So this is my previous test done a year ago, and well, it had very same results, right? So this is Twist of Fate, right? Those are 5 mods, 4 mods. So I had different approach, right? So I tested 400 maps. I played them, I rolled them and I separated them, and I played Twist of Fate, I played Mixed Mode, and I played 8 mode exclusively, and Rares, which is non-corrupted, right? So this was a different test. I think it was a bit better because it showed us, you know, also gives us a little bit of credibility that this looks like that there is no like crazy result that 4 mods somehow drop more than 8 mods. So this was pretty good test. It gives me a lot of confidence that what I've done this league is also correct. And maybe a few words about the results, right? So we can see 4 mods are totally crap. 5 modes are a bit better. And what are 5 modes? 5 modes, you know, starts somewhere from 37, 38 increased rarity. I'm not sure about increased quantity because I prefer to operate on lower numbers. You know, increased item rarity is like 40, 45, 50. For 8 mods is 60, 65. And, you know, I don't know because item quantity is increased by silver oil and it changes with fragments. So I just try to focus on rarity for reference. It doesn't matter because those two numbers are closely tied. So there is a just, you know, it goes in pair. Anyway, for 5 mods, it's like 37, 38. For Twist of Fate, it was back then with those units, right? Like you can see in here. So it was different Twist of Fate. It had different outcomes than it has now, but it was a bit better than 5 mods. It was worse than 6 mods. Then we had those unidentified maps, which are even better than 6 mods. So those were pretty cool. And mixed. Mixed was something else in this test. So mixed was not, you know, like corrupted maps. I mean, like in this league, I played Twist of Fate plus 8 mods, and this is actually low rolls. So in this league, I played all the maps without Twist of Fate, except for low rolls, like 4 mods, right? And this was better than units and 6 mods and Twist of Fate, right? So this is basically our low roll strategy. This was uncorrupted. For some reason it was better. Maybe RNG, maybe, I don't know, maybe the tainted oil was cheaper than golden oil. I can't remember. But yeah, rare maps uncorrupted were a bit better than corrupted maps, which is kind of weird. But yeah, this was, just remember, this was without 8 mods, I believe. So 8 mods were the strongest ones. And you can see it here. So I can't recall actually if it was with 8 mods, but I think it was just, you know, like 40 plus. So it was 5 and 6 mods, and I would have to check, but I'm not sure if 8 mods were included in this. But anyway, 8 mods were the strongest one. And you can clearly see that Twist of Fate was not the best outcome back then. So when I see now those results, I'm not surprised. We had high hopes that, you know, the 1 to 3 implicits are gonna be strong. We see huge numbers on our maps, right? So when you open the map, maybe let's enable this to show you. Maybe I can give fragments. I hope I have no duplicates. I think I have some duplicates, right? And this one. So yeah, so Twist of Fate rerolls the map, and sometimes the rarity was like 90% and the quantity was 440. And, you know, this gave a feeling that this is really stronger, we should play that. And what it causes that, you know, the maps are much harder than 8 modes, because you have 11 modes, and, you know, Blight-Ravaged maps really can be hard because there are many different layouts. You need to protect the pump, right? So if you get like additional projectiles and some crazy ass DPS and like increased speed, and monsters cannot be stunned under base value, it can really overwhelm not only your character but also your PC, right? So, you know, running Twist of Fate was a challenge. It was fun chasing that, but if it's much worse, it's totally not worth it, you know? You don't need to roll maps for Twist of Fate. That was nice, because all you do is you basically apply oils, slam your alk, corrupt your map, and there you go. You don't need to care about like rolling maps like I showed you, like trying to get those 40% plus increased rarity and then corrupting maps, blah blah blah, right? So some of you might find this actually, you know, more relaxed gameplay, right? The juicing is faster, but I believe we lose quite a lot because of that. So I believe the, you know, results are quite easy to understand. If we look at this graph, right? So again, we saw that all the best rewards drop way more in our low rolls than the mixed drop as well, except for tainted oil, right? For some reason we've got not enough tainted oils for mix, maybe that's why it's that low. Anyway, this continues, right? We can see this on multiple items. You know, for stack decks, it's actually Twist of Fate that drops more. This is really interesting and gives me, you know, this supports my theory that maybe we somehow get more oil chests with those strategies than with Twist of Fate. It's like stack deck chest is lower tier than oil and currency chests, so not sure, that's my theory. Anyway, you will see that for the lower tier rewards, actually Twist of Fate drops more. Like, you get less golden oils or silver oils with twist, I mean with low rolls and mixed, and you get more of them with Twist of Fate, and that means those rewards are not converted to a higher tier for some reason, right? And this results in lower loot. So yeah, here we can see what is the distribution, but this doesn't give us much information of which strategy is better. This is just if you want to understand what is the loot distribution of playing Blight-Ravaged maps. So you can see 75% is really just few items, and of course this includes like bulk cells like scarabs and maybe then sacrifices and fossils, right? But yeah, this is nice view of what actually drops. And this also changed between leagues, because like oils are super expensive now, so they are all the top loot. Before, stack decks were like top 2, top 3 position. Now stack decks are cheap and oils are very expensive, so things changed, right? And as a final conclusion, I have few theories I would like to, you know, mention in this video as my conclusion. So one reason why this strategy could be better than Twist of Fate, or why actually Twist of Fate is, you know, worse, so that when we roll our maps ourselves, we get better average increased item rarity and better average increased item quantity than when we do with Twist of Fate. This is one theory. This might be because the implicit modes don't really add anything to the loot. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they added this, but this just doesn't work with blighted maps. So it just increases the map difficulty, but it doesn't increase loot. Maybe it's a code bug, maybe it's, you know, not intended, I don't know. But the previous Twist of Fate also worked worse, right? So maybe it's just a cosmetic change, right? And it never worked, and it never will, because it was not designed for Blight-Ravaged maps. So that's one of the reasons why maybe self-rolling maps are better. The other theory is that Twist of Fate misses something from our juice. I don't know. It says it takes fragments, it says it takes enchantments and stuff, but I don't know, right? Maybe like there are some algorithms and some calculations in the code that actually miss something when you play it that way. You know, again, it was not designed for this, so I don't know. It's hard to tell. I couldn't see this in practice. The only reason why I'm thinking about it is just the loot here is above 20% less, so that's actually a huge difference. And there must be a reason for that. You know, it's just a computer program, so there's always like a reason behind that. It might be RNG, but I don't think so. So another possible reason is, again, what I explained, that this might be just a poor test because of low sample, and you know, the chest types are completely random. I don't think so, because all my previous tests at this sample resulted in pretty stable results. So Twist of Fate is just a, you know, huge dice roll, and the outcome of it is really, like, you know, it can be really bad or it can be really great, right? So some maps I didn't drop any loot, some maps I had to go twice, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway, I think on average low rolls is much better, and yeah, and I think this is not a coincidence, right? So, but I think you need to know that it might be something to have in mind, that, you know, this is just a small test I've done. It's not like set in stone. Those numbers could be just, you know, outcome of something random. But again, then you should ask yourself a question: how many maps per league you're gonna play? Because I have tests from 400 maps, I have tests from 200 maps, so I can say I tested 600 maps which say Twist of Fate sucks. If you're gonna play more than 600 maps to find out whether Twist of Fate sucks or not, then you are free to do so. If not, maybe just try to believe what try to believe my tests and trust what I've done here. And yeah, I think that concludes the video. So what will I be playing? I will be rolling my maps to 40-45% increased rarity, and then maybe using Twist of Fate for my low rolls. Maybe I will try and compare low rolls versus just running those bad rolls, you know, without Twist of Fate at all. So seeing what's actually better, maybe I can find a difference there as well. And maybe that's gonna, you know, be an idea for next test in 3.26 or in POE 2 if there is a Blight-Ravaged content. So we will see what goes next. But maybe also a few words about future of this channel. So as this test is completed, I'm heading for vacation next week and I will be off for some time. When I return, I will be testing Fulcrum Chieftain just to see how the builds plays out, whether it's gonna be my next league starter. Of course, that will be based on the patch notes, so I can't say for sure. Poison Cremation might be like a backup build. It works great, it's cheap, so why not? And besides that, like I mentioned, I still wanted to test the fragments, whether it's worth to add some currency for mortal fragments, because I could buy them for like 2C or 4C in bulk from Faustus. So Faustus really changed the game for fragments. They are cheap as fuck, especially if you buy them at night. So right now the cheapest offer is like 4.5C. I was able to buy those for 3C. So you can either flip it or use it for your Blight-Ravaged maps. It's an extra cost, and I'm not sure if it comes with that much more loot. So something to test in the future, maybe for the next league, I think, because Twist of Fate is done. I think that will be my next big test. I want to, you know, understand and to see how it plays out. So join the Discord again, follow the spreadsheet, follow my channel, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. I hope you really liked and enjoyed this video, and I hope it's helpful for you. It helps you optimize your time, regardless whether you play chill or you try to focus. Every minute spent in Blight-Ravaged map can result in more loot, so why not? I think it's always good to optimize your gameplay and, you know, make stuff better. Thanks for watching and cheers, bye!